Here is President McKinley, who was our third president to be assassinated. He was also president during the Spanish-American War. Here's William Howard Taft, who he's not a household name, but he was actually one of our most important presidents. And he surfaces quite a bit here in DC tours. And he's buried at Arlington National Cemetery, along with President Kennedy, the only two presidents to be buried there. And Woodrow Wilson, our World War I president, he's number 28. Harding, who's president in the 20s. Calvin Coolidge. Herbert Hoover, who sadly his legacy is that he really did a bad job of handling the Great Depression, and things were a lot worse because of his policies. And that's when FDR came after him, and here he is. And he got us out of the Great Depression and was our World War II president up until the end, not the very end, but towards the end when he died. Here's FDR again. There's an interesting thing to this portrait. You see how he's holding a cigar. And there is a famous photograph of him holding a cigar like this. And they made a statue of it, which is at his memorial, except holding cigars or cigarettes are not, this is actually a cigarette in a case. But it's not fashionable. You can't make statues of people holding cigarettes. So his fingers look like that in the statue, except there's nothing in it. So it's just this odd arrangement to have your fingers if it's not holding on to anything. So that's how it is at the statue. And moving on, coming into the modern era here. Here is number 34, Dwight D. Eisenhower, president during the 1950s, during a period of peace between World War II and Korea. And here's JFK, more of a modern art style portrait. Kind of looks more like a French Impressionist type thing, but very different from the others. And this is also in that vein, kind of more of an Andy Warhol kind of style. Oh, it is Andy Warhol. All right, man, I called it without actually knowing it. That's awesome, Scott, good job. And here's another one. Also Andy Warhol. Here's Lyndon B. Johnson, who was president for the majority of the Vietnam War. Gerald Ford, so we're kind of skipped over Nixon, but we'll get to him, I promise. And here he is. It's a Norman Rockwell. President Nixon, so right there in big letters. Jimmy Carter, who just recently passed away, was president in the late 70s. There he is again. Here's President Reagan, who of course, served 2 terms during the 1980s. Here's Joe Biden, so of course we're going a little bit out of order. We will catch up. And his actual portrait hasn't been done yet. It takes time for these portraits to go in, so there's a photograph of him at the moment. Let's do some catching up now. And here's President Bush, the first one, George H.W. Here's a really funky one of President Clinton. This is a very modern art style. Very different from the others. This weird mosaic kind of pattern here. And here's George W. Bush. Looking very chilled out and relaxed. And here is the super famous Barack Obama portrait. And I just want to take a look at who did the Clinton one. Oh, nobody I recognize. His name's Chuck Close. Maybe it's because when you get up close to it, you see all these different patterns, which are pretty interesting to look at up close. You can't even make out his eyes, really, when you're this close. I can see it on the screen of my camera, but when I'm looking at it directly, you really can't tell that it's eyes. So that is it here for the Presidential Portrait Gallery. I hope I didn't skip over any presidents. I may have. If I did, I apologize. But yeah, and this is just a little pan of the gallery that comes up after it, the struggle for justice. All right, so I'm going to end this here, and we'll catch you in the next one.